Hey guys, I'm Saar, an ex-Israeli Air Force intelligence officer, a boxing and Krav Maga coach, and a mindset coach, specifically for men these days. What we're going to work on today is something I like to call shadow values. Shadow values means not necessarily values like honesty, but values as in things that I value. What are the emotions and feelings that I value in my life? In shadow, because these are values that we tend to kind of hide, that society puts down. Values such as validation, values such as sense of control, feelings of superiority. Society tells us these things are wrong. We should avoid feeling them and should avoid pursuing them, right? If I love being validated, often I can't say it to people, hey guys, I love being validated. Can you validate me? Right? Society will say, you should not seek validation. It's not right for you. It's not healthy, etc., etc. What I found, both through my own experiences and both through working with clients, is that the opposite is often true. Instead of suppressing a part of us, we should embrace it. And not just embrace it, but we should actually grab it and amplify it and turn it into a strength and use it to fuel our pursuit of results in our lives. And this is a little bit of what we're going to do. We're going to use a little tool that I call shadow value elicitation and shadow value linking that helps us connect to these shadow values and use them or take the energy that hides in them to fuel what we want to achieve in life. So some shadow values that are quite common among people, and I have a list here just so I don't miss anything. These are probably the 7 most common ones: attention, authority, belonging, control, rebelliousness, superiority, validation. Outside of these, you can naturally find other types of shadow values in you. But what I found is that often as we play with the emotions and with the values that you bring up, we can often relate to one of those. So if you can't really think what it means, try and think about it again. When I say attention, I usually mean a sense of uniqueness. I like status, feeling special, standing out, being different. When I talk about authority, it's more like a parent like manner. So giving orders, being respected, righteousness. When I talk about belonging, I usually talk about being accepted, connected, or feeling part of a community, friendship, family. Control, being able to influence your circumstance, right? Control and freedom go hand in hand. When you say I like freedom, what you actually say is I like control on my circumstances, my territory, myself, others, security, certainty, protection. When we talk about rebelliousness, it's this feeling of being a little bit naughty, right? Knowing you are doing something that's a bit wrong, pushing the boundaries, breaking the rules, sticking it to the authority. When we talk about superiority, usually it manifests as power, progress, expansion, success, ambition, achievement, confidence, morality, problem solving, etc. And when we talk about validation, it's this feeling of being important, worthy, being good enough and deserving. So these are generally the key ones that I find people usually connect with. I don't necessarily want to guide you towards them, but when you give answers, and you will see soon, see if any of these fit. So now what we're going to do is everything we do in life has to be in front of a result. I can't make any change in myself if I'm not working towards a result. Like, what am I changing for? What is the goal I'm pursuing, right? So it's very important that you will sit with yourselves for a minute and try and identify what is a key goal in your life that you're trying to achieve, and you are, let's say, either not succeeding, which is quite a big obvious thing, or finding it hard to achieve, finding what I call a lot of resistance. I want to work on my new business, and I know I need to record videos or work on the brand, but I just can't find the energy or inspiration to do it. This is quite a common thing, and this is something that I work with people quite often on. So now, as we have this desired result, I want you to remember that what we do today, there is no right or wrong. Don't have any shame or guilt, right? For me, SAR, I identify that I like being validated. And sometimes there can be a sense of shame and guilt around it. Eliminate it. There's nothing wrong with those things. No shame, no guilt, no fear, no judgment, no self criticism, no way to fail. Now, let's start the process. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to think about a recent moment in time where you became frustrated, angry, or uncomfortable. Try and go back into that moment, really see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt, and really put yourself in that specific moment. And then I want you to ask yourself, in this very moment, what am I not getting? What do I not have, or what is most missing? As you connect into that moment and figure, what am I not getting? What do I not have, or what am I missing? I want you to preferably write it down. Write one and write that feeling that you not get. Again, as an example for me, let's say I was crossing the road and someone didn't, a car didn't stop for me, and it made me angry and frustrated. And I tried to think what sensation arose in me, what emotion. And I think maybe I didn't get respect there, right? He didn't respect me. I'm crossing the road. He didn't respect. And then let's try to think, what does respect mean? I think for me, in respect is maybe authority, right? He didn't respect my authority, me being me. So I will write down one, what I didn't receive is a sense of authority. Of course, you can do it for yourself. Then I want you to stay inside that moment, still stay in that moment, and I want you to ask yourself, in this moment, what is the name of the feeling I am not getting that I would not openly admit to typically? And I would call this like this naughty feeling, right? If we go back to their authority, I can say, yeah, authority. But you know what? What I wouldn't tell most people, but I think what I wasn't getting is not just respect. It's like a sense of superiority. Like, I am Sa'ar, I'm crossing the road and you're stopping me, right? So I would write two, superiority. So we have one, which was in that very moment, what am I not getting? What do I not have, or what is missing? And we have two, in this very moment, what is the name of the feeling I'm not getting that I would not openly admit to typically? And now the third question. If you were the most egotistical person on planet Earth, what would you say is the name of the feeling you are not getting in this very moment? So write three, and then as an answer, I want you to write, if you were the most egotistical person on planet Earth, what would you say is the name of the feeling you are not getting in this very moment? And after you write these three, I'll give you a minute to write them all, or hopefully you've written all of them by now. What I want you to do is imagine next weekend there is an event. Let's say a party. There's actually a few parties. And you have the opportunity to go to one of these three parties. In the first party, you will get the thing you answered as one. So let's say I answered validation. So in the first party, I will get unlimited amount of validation. Everyone will tell me how amazing I am, etc., etc. I want you to think this is option one. Next week, and this is what I'm going. The second party is what you answered for number two. So let's say I answered authority. On that party, I will get an unlimited sense of authority. I'll be able to be the most unique there. I'll have a lot of status there. I'll stand out. I'm different. I'm the authority in that party. And then naturally, the third party that happens this weekend is what you answered for answer three, right? If I was the most egotistical person, what would I feel? And then let's say I've said superiority. So I would say in this third party, I will get an unlimited amount of superiority, power, progress, expansion, etc. So we have three parties. We have 1, 2, and 3, like our answers. And what I want you to do is I want you to sit for a second, and if people's opinion of you did not matter at all in any way, shape, or form, which of these parties would you most love to attend? And I want you to really be honest with yourself. Which one would I most love to attend? You know what? Maybe validation for me, right? For you, it will be what your answer is. And then what we do is we recognize that this answer is my highest shadow values. I love getting authority. I love feeling superior. But if you tell me I'm going to be validated, fuck yes, I'm going to go there. I'm definitely going to do that. This is what I really crave inside, despite it being a little bit hard to admit, despite it hiding in the shadow. And now, as we figured what is this key naughty drive, key hidden shadow value drive that you have, I want you to do the following. I want you preferably to write, but you can actually do it in your mind. I want you to write at least 5 times, preferably more. How will achieving or creating and this is going to be your result, the goal you want. So let's say if my goal is launch my business, I want you to write, how will launching my business give me even more and this is your highest shadow value. Let's say again, I said before that for me it's validation, so I would write down, how will launching my business give me even more validation? And I want you to write down at least 5 different answers to it. What we're doing here is creating links in our brain, really biological, physical links in the synapses, creating synapses and connections around something that drives us, these shadow values that empowers us and often even drives us behind the scene to what we want to achieve. This is how we program our brain and take these things that we love despite not admitting and use them to inspire and energize what we want to achieve in life. By doing this, by writing it down, how else can we program our brain? Thinking is great, but physically writing actually has better scientific backing for input output into our brain and for creating memories and building skills. So after you've done that, what I want you to write as well is, what is the key action you need to take that will allow you to achieve the result you want to achieve originally in your life? So again, if my result is launch business, what is the key action I need to take? Launch my website. So I'll write it down, launch my website. And then I want you to write this. In the time I could be doing this thing, this for me, let's say launch website, what am I doing instead that is most preventing you from creating this desired result, launch business? So for me, in the time that I could be launching my website, what am I doing instead that is most preventing me from launching my business? Okay? And then what I want you to write is, how will launching my website give me even more validation? And I want you to write 5 times. So I've used validation, but for you it will be your highest shadow value, whatever it is, superiority, authority, etc. And then you're going to write, how does, let's say, procrastinating, so this is the current action that I'm doing that prevents me from launching, right? Because before we asked how, like in the time that I could be having this new action, this launching my website, what was I doing instead that preventing me from launching my business? And we found an answer, let's say procrastination. I want you to write, how does this procrastination give me significantly less high shadow value? So for me, validation. And then even there, I want you to write five answers. So you are going to have at least 5 answers around how will achieving your desired result gives you even more of this thing you crave, these highest shadow values. And you're going to have at least 5 answers around how does taking this key action that will help me achieve my result gives me even more of this highest shadow value, for me, validation. And how does the actions I'm doing now, procrastination, avoiding this, wasting time, wasting money, whatever it is for you, give me even less of this highest shadow value, for me, let's say validation. And what we're doing by writing these things down is we're bringing awareness to our patterns, and not just awareness, we are creating neurological connection from something that drives us, that fuels us, that makes us take action, sometimes not healthy actions, but more often than not, just drives us into what we want, into taking new actions, into achieving the results we want. Now, I recommended writing a minimum of 5 on each, but when I work with my clients, I'll tell them write 10 times. Sometimes when they have hard resistance to these things, 100 times, even if it means repeating. And I highly recommend for you guys to not just do this today, but for the coming week, every day, 5, 5, 5 on each of these. 5, 5, 5. I prefer you will try to make it something new, but it's okay if it will be the same thing. Nothing wrong with repeating. How does launching my business gives me even more validation? Well, I'll be a successful business owner, so I'll be able to talk about it with people, and they will validate me around it, etc., etc., etc. Right? How does launching my website gives me even more, will give me even more validation? Well, I've launched my website, I can show it to people, they'll validate me around the hard work I've done. How does procrastinating gives me less of validation? Well, I'm not achieving what I need, I can't talk about it to people, I'm not proud of myself, they won't be proud of me, I can't get validation, etc. And it's okay if you repeat those things, because it myelinates those neurological connections, which means it strengthens them. But I do recommend you try and make new ones, and I recommend you try to do it every day. I personally really like to do it before I sleep as part of my journaling. So I have my journaling and I start it with those things, 5, 5, 5, and then a little bit of my own journaling. This really sets in motion the programming your brain needs to eliminate resistances and to find the drive into doing what you want and need to do. Suddenly, oh, recording reels for my Instagram, I know I need to do it, but I'm burnt out, I don't have energy. Suddenly, as you start doing it every day, okay, maybe it's not too bad, I'll record this reel. And then another day, maybe. And suddenly, as you repeat these things, your brain just sees value in doing that, right? Naturally. And then you wake up one day and actually, yeah, recording these reels, launching the website, whatever actions I need to take to achieve my result is not that hard. It's even fun a little bit. And you won't necessarily understand why, but it's because you are mentally connecting it to a big driver within you. So this was shadow value elicitation. We figured what our shadow value is, and linking. We linked those shadow values to results that we achieved. I found that this is a very powerful tool to help us connect with a part in ourselves that we often don't connect, and also draw a lot of energy and power from it. Again, I'm Sar. If you want to see more, just follow me on my Instagram, Coach Sar. And I'd love to hear any questions and also your feedback and review around how this impacted you. And after a week of you doing it, let me know, how do you feel?